All right, how's it going, everybody? My name's D Prodigy, coming to you live, breaking down this upcoming NFL Showdown slate. It's for the Hall of Fame game. I'm excited for the Hall of Fame game for sure. NFL's back. I've been kind of deep and diving in the Olympics. It's been all over the place, but we'll see how this goes with the Hall of Fame game. I am here with Dustin Shelton. You can find him on Twitter with I am Jelly. I'm gonna have his link in the description below. How's it going, man? It's been a while.
What's up, dude? I'm happy to be back doing this with you.
For sure, man. I mean, we have NFL. Um, from now on, we have a game every single week, so I'm sure we're going to be talking about it a lot. The weather is already looking kind of a crapshoot with the rain coming in, which it's preseason, it's a Hall of Fame game. The rain
hmm
obviously has to be here. I mean, it just adds into the drama that we're trying to figure out with this game. I mean, we've already kind of talked about it before the show. It's a
Yep.
crapshoot. You either get dead last or you either get first. So we'll see how this goes. But how do you feel about this game, man?
Uh, from uh, from the weather aspect of it, with it being pouring down rain and muddy and everything, man, that's some old school football. Let's buckle up the shin pads, tighten up the shoulder pads a little bit, put your head down, and let's go. I think it's going to be a lot of running. If the weather's going to be bad like it is, I think the air game is probably not going to be as effective as the run game. So it's really gonna it's really gonna have an impact on how people build for this contest.
For sure, man. So we're going to start off kind of going position by position. DraftKings has it as defense first, kickers, quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, then receivers. I'm glad receivers are dead last because hindsight 2020, I'm probably not going to play a lot of receivers, but we'll start off the defenses. They're going to be popular. It's the Hall of Fame game. You know, they're
Mhm.
going to stack the defenses. How do you feel about the Texans, the Bears defense coming into this game?
You can play both of them, no problem. That is one of the things for preseason DFS that you can do and just get away with it. You know that they're good for a solid 6 or 7 points, and most of the time they're the most high end scoring player on the slate because everyone's getting so much run in such little time. You're gonna have guys maybe a quarter, maybe a half, but with the defenses, you know you're gonna get points no matter what. So they're always a safe bet, and whoever wins is going to have more than likely both defenses in the lineup.
Right. So we already saw the Texans. I have the first preseason game pulled up. It was 20-9 against the Patriots. I mean, defense held their own. As it
Mhm.
seems. I mean, 9 points for the Patriots. That should give you enough DraftKings points to get you there. You know they're already starting off with 10. It's already a safe bet. They're going to get points. So kind of looking at the defenses, I don't mind the Texans defense. Looking at the Bears, I mean the Titans did do well with 17 fantasy points, but again, the points are going to be there. Interception, interception. There's two already for you. So with the Bears defense looking against the Titans in their first preseason game. So again, it's a safe bet for you to get points there. Kind of like you spoke about, you're going to get players only playing maybe one catch. I mean, with the receivers wise, I mean, I have it at the top again. Looking at receivers, one catch, two catches, one catches. It's as
Yeah.
crap. That's just I'm going to say that word over and over and over again. It's like playing the lottery. You really don't know with these players. We don't really have much news. I kind of have the both news articles pulled up.
Mhm.
Again, it's kind of just all over the place, but I don't mind going to either defenses. I'm going to lock and load them. I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to play at least one lineup with the Bears in the captain. I'll play at least one lineup with the Texans defense in one lineup.
Mhm.
Kind of pick and choose what you want to do. Looking at the kickers, well, again, we kind of already talked about it a little bit beforehand. Santos went 3 for 3 in their preseason game with the kicking. That's a solid amount of fantasy points for you right there. 11 points with a long one of 49 yards. That's another bonus for you. So kicking wise, you can go to the kickers. I don't mind it at all. How do you feel about the kicking situation here?
I'm in the same boat as you. You can definitely go with the kickers because, like I said, with the defenses, they're good for points no matter what. Kickers, they're not as they're not as good for points as a defense is, but you know they'll get some. So it beats having a zero. And I know we went back to the last preseason game. These two teams have the same head coaches, and they're the two teams that we can easily go back and look at these preseason games to see what they want to do. Because the coach is going to keep the same thing he's going to do in preseason on how many guys he's going to play, how long they're going to play. And when we look back at this, it seems like the Texans get a lot of use out of their kicker. So I would put Santos above the Bears kicker right now.
So Looking at Santos, I like him for the Bears. I like Fairbairn for the Houston Texans. I don't mind going to either one. Looking at quarterbacks, so I don't imagine the Houston's going to play their starters. Davis Mills already came out and said he's going to get a sense of run. I don't mind going to Davis Mills. I mean, the price tags obviously on this slate, they don't matter. You can pick and choose whatever players you want to play because it's all the same salary at 7.6. So we already have that aspect out of the way for us. So looking at Davis Mills, I don't mind going to him whatsoever. He's going to get plenty of run. Looking at Case Keenum, the veteran on the team, we go back again to the first preseason game, went out for 14 with a TD. Again, I don't know how much they're going to play Case Keenum when they have Tim Boyle right there for you, which again we already saw him on the Jets. It was a travesty seeing him play last year. It was awful. So again, I don't really like looking at Tim Boyle. So how do you feel about this Texans situation for the quarterbacks?
I think you can go good with either Dougie Mills or Case Keenum. Case Keenum, I'm a little bit more higher on Keenum because I saw he got more run last year than a guy at his age would get. And, with Boyle, I could see Boyle finishing out the game in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
But I think Dougie Mills will be the preferred option here because he knows his future's not with this team. So he's going to be dress rehearsing for probably another team next year, or unless Houston wants to make him the best insurance policy in the league. So Dougie would be the option out of the Houston quarterbacks for me.
Looking at Chicago, they already said they're not playing the starters. Bagent's going to play. It's well known around the league that he's going to be starting and he's going to get a good amount of run. I don't imagine he's going to go into the third quarter. I can see him definitely playing the first quarter. I can definitely see him playing the second quarter. But they also have Brett Ripon and they have Austin Reed, the rookie out of Western Kentucky. So kind of looking at the Bears situation, again, Bangett's my go-to guy. I like him. I'm gonna play him in some of my lineups. Ripon, we know can gunsling the ball, but again, it's just we haven't really seen much of him. So looking at the Bears options, I would say Bangett's number one. Or would you be in favor of playing Banjett on the slate?
Yeah, absolutely. He has a lot of rushing upside. Even when he came in for Justin Fields last year, he ran the ball really well. So he's going to use his legs to get some yards, and a quarterback that can use his legs and his arm is very valuable. And I would put him as the top quarterback play on the slate above Davis Mills, and definitely above all the Bears quarterback. And I'm with you. Bajan, I do believe will play. He'll definitely play a half and maybe into the third quarter as well. Then give way to Rippon and Reed to finish out the game. But I really like I really like Badgett. I'm actually considering him for my captain spot, so I'm really high on him.
For sure. So going to running backs on the Houston side, Mixon's I don't imagine he's going to play. He's not even practicing.
Mm.
Um, Then looking at Cam Akers, Damon Pierce. Akers we know is dealing with the injury. I don't imagine he's going to play. Damian Pierce, I mean, it says on DK that he's going to get a sense of run. I don't know how much I believe that just because of the injuries on this team. Again, if he's going to be possibly the number one back, like they already talked about, I don't really imagine him seeing a lot of run, but again, I could be completely wrong. It's preseason. I've been wrong before. Things have been said before in preseason that definitely aren't even true. So
Yeah,
again, you just kind of have to pick and choose what you believe. Again, Damian Pierce is running to the right. They've already talked about it. I know it's on here somewhere where they said he was the RB1. Yeah, DP as a running back one because Joe Mixon's out of practice. So again, how much run is Damian Pierce going to really get? But again, all it takes is one touchdown on this
yeah.
slate.
And he
So,
can get that 2 or 3 drives and be done, and that's enough you need. That's all you're gonna need.
I mean, we could see him hit two in the end zone and then be done. I mean, again, we
Yeah.
really don't know. We don't know. We have Dare. I'm not even gonna try to say the last name. I don't want to butcher it. And then we have Jordan. We have JJ Taylor, who I think is not even going to play based on, like I said, the training camp thing
Mhm.
I read earlier. So again, it's just kind of all over the place. Anthony Beck, I mean Andrew Beck, he's kind of the fullback on the team. I don't imagine him going to get run. Again, running back situations kind of all over the place just because it's preseason. I mean, we kind of saw
Yeah.
this last year 4-5-5-5-4. I mean, Devin Singletary saw a lot of, I mean, 5 runs. So
Yeah.
Again, it's just who do you trust on this team? So Texans wise, are you looking at any running backs, or are you kind of just fading the running backs on the Houston side?
Like you said, it can only take one time for him to get in the end zone and be optimal. And that's Damian Pierce, with Darrow. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name either. Um I I've been burned before when it comes to running backs. Like I'm not gonna play the starter because he's only gonna be in for a drive, maybe two or three, maybe a quarter. He'll go in, get a touchdown, pop off a big run, and he's optimal and outscores every running back on the slate. And I think that's just a bullet. I'm willing to eat the high ownership on Damian Pierce if he gets any sort of respectable points. He don't have to be the highest person on the slate scoring wise, running back wise, but it's not going to kill you if you have. So I think probably the most liked guy on the slate is Damian Pierce.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Pierce, and I think it's going to be Jordan who are get the most amount of run. I mean, we see it on DK also. Again, Damian Pierce is about to play extensively, and Jordan. So
And
again,
one thing we have not touched on that, a lot of people are not really thinking about right now is, this new kickoff rule. You know, they could put a backpacker for this, and we don't know how it's going to be. And I would not be surprised because Dare is a special teamer. He's been with the Texans for a couple years, and he's good on special teams. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back there returning kicks, especially with this new kickoff system. It's going to be a new one for everyone, and if he can house a kick along with the defense, I think that's a recipe that will get you paid if it pays off.
it's definitely possible, man. So going to Chicago. So we have DeAndre Swift, who I don't expect to play, and then we can have the debacle of Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, and Travis Homer. I don't imagine Blasting is going to get a lot of run.
Uh,
Shelton just signed. He could be seeing time. I mean, again, it's definitely possible that he could be seeing playing time to try to get him back in the groove of this is the system we're playing in Chicago. Here we go. Looking at Travis Homer again, a possible option if we go to the Bears. Past running back options, Roshan Johnson saw 12 carries, 44 yards. Homer saw 6. Herbert saw 4. Again, are they going to run Roshan Johnson out there for another 10 to 12 carries?
yeah.
For you to decide, that's for you to decide. I'm not an expert. Again, it could be possible. So again, all it takes is one TD though. That's all. Go ahead.
Well, last year Herbert was a starter, so that would make sense why Roshan, got more carries than he would. But you said something earlier before we came on air that you think it's going to be Herbert and Swift. You think Herbert has not lost grip on that number 2 spot, so I could see them playing Herbert, starting them off with Bajent, and then going to Roshan.
Because this is the unofficial depth chart. This is the one that ESPN has.
Mm-hmm.
Flipped Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Travis Homer. So again, that could easily flip to be Roshan Johnson number 2 and then Khalil Herbert number
Yeah,
3. It's kind of a flip or flop situation. We saw that last year with them two. Is it was definitely kind of flip or flop. I mean,
yeah,
got a good amount of carries, yes, but then you also saw kind of Roshan Johnson getting into the mix
mm-hmm.
with 9, 5, 7, 10, 6, 5. I mean, it was definitely all over the place for Roshan Johnson. Ended up with 81 carries. Herbert had 132. So again, kind of a split, kind of not a split. Um, Travis Homer, again, I don't really expect him to see a lot to run, but again, last year, what he saw 6 carries for 25 yards. So again, running back wise, it depends on the weather. Are they going to really run the ball and pass it out? I guess we'll
yeah,
kind of have to wait and see what an hour before the game how the weather is because that can easily change also in a heartbeat.
yeah.
So
And you don't know what the weather could bring winds, so we just got to really see what the weather does. Mother Nature can decide this slate.
and then going to tight ends, looking at Houston, a popular name that I've seen all over Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
Kate Stover. I mean, on the Texans training camp wise, that we see Kate Stover get talked about nonstop.
Mhm.
Um, I'll pull it up. I know I have it up here somewhere. John Michi, Kate Stover ready to hit. I mean, he keeps getting talked about over and over and over again. He already got into a fight in practice. Again, he's going to be a popular click.
Yep.
Ownership wise, do you want to click him? I want to play him on at least 1 to 2 lineups. Again, I'm going to eat the ownership because If he finds
Yeah.
an end zone touchdown, your night could be over if you don't have him in your lineup. And say the Houston barely scores, say they only score 2 times, and he's one of
Hmm.
them. Here's the other one, you're screwed. So
Yeah. You're 100% right. But this is, I feel like this is where me and you differ because I am, we both been playing for a long time. We each have a rule. And it doesn't matter how much people try to convince us, we can never get off that one thing that we got. And
mhm.
mine is I don't play tight ends in the preseason. I just don't. But you make a good case for Cade Stover. He's going to be one of the only healthy tight ends on the roster for Houston. And, he could get some catches here and there, but it's just, I just years of playing DFS, I don't see tight ends getting a whole lot of run. So this is where you and I differ. I am not saying Cade Stover's a bad play. I can definitely see him coming out there with the first team, grabbing 2 or 3 balls, maybe for like 16, 25 yards, and then calling it a night. And, it's not the worst play. It's just, this is where I get kind of pig-headed. I just don't play tight ends on a preseason slate. But,
So my case for it is Dalton Schultz is not playing.
yep,
Brevin Jordan got hurt, which
yep.
was today, this morning. You can't
Hmm.
start your quarantine. You have all Dalton Keene, who's questionable. I'm not really sure why, but Quarantino already had a going surgery going into this season. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, he doesn't carry injury designation. He's trying to play. Again, we never really know how much fun
Hmm.
he can get. I think it's Kate Stover time. The rookie, I mean, he's gonna have to see something. They're gonna want to see him in action. So again,
Well,
that's my
you got
case.
if Jordan's injury is that bad, they're not going to want Stover to get hurt.
I mean, he's a rookie though. That's my thing. He's a rookie. They're already
Yeah,
out in training camp. They want to see him play.
yeah,
So, I mean, they could throw out Quarantino to be the backup. Chicago wise, though, I'm not playing any tight ends whatsoever. This is
no,
a line waiting to happen with all these tight ends. I don't imagine
no,
it's going to play. Obviously, Mercedes Lewis is Stone Age now. I mean,
yep,
I'm surprised he's even still playing. And then you
yep,
have all these other guys with Bates, Scales, Sweeney, Carlson. I mean, Carlson has been talked about in training camp also. Pure dart throw in the dark. Hope for the best. Um, but this is where the action kind of gets all over the place. Is receivers.
mm-hmm,
Kind of transitioning to the receivers wise, Stephon Diggs is not playing. Nico Collins is not playing. I don't imagine Tate Dell's even going to play.
nope,
Robert Woods, I don't think he's going to play. Noah Brown is already kind of sitting out of practice. I mean, they have Michi, Skronik, who's looked good in training camp, Hutchinson,
mm-hmm,
Johnson, Cephas. I mean, Cephas is the new guy on the block. He signed what on the 16th or on the
yeah,
Tuesday. So here we go. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'm going to play some of Michi. I mean, if I'm going to play receiver, it's going to be Michi. It's going to be Skronik. Hutchinson, we know is very fast on the field. He's a long ball deep threat. We saw
yeah,
this before with him.
yeah.
So, are you liking any receivers on the Houston side?
I'm with you with Michi. Um, that's really the only one I would lean to. It's, I mean, you said all those guys like Robert Woods. I think Brown's spot on this roster is locked. So I think you got Robert Woods, Michi, Hutchinson, Skowronek, all these guys competing for that last spot. And I just think that all their numbers are going to be the same. And just don't think it's going to be enough to make a difference on the slate. They're not, I don't believe they're going to outscore any of the running backs unless one guy catches a bomb.
I was about to say all it takes is one bomb though, and it's a lottery pick on which one it's going to be. I mean, we know Skoronik is fast also. He's kind of
Very,
that zone threat.
yeah.
So, and he's again already being talked about in training camp.
Hmm.
Michi's being talked about, looking good right now. So again, I'm kind of looking at Skoronik and Michi. Those are the
Yeah.
main two that I'm looking at.
Well, one thing too, everyone looks good in training camp. So, I
I'm
mean,
saying like Michi wise, based off the injuries that he's had.
yeah, I can see that because I think he is going to be fighting for a roster spot. Even though, I mean, I hate to say it, it's probably not going to be on this team. I said that to you before we started. I think Michi's future, I think he's got a bright future, but I just don't think it's on this team. I just think just health bit him at the wrong time, and with the emergence of Nico, Tank Dell, they traded for Diggs, Brown. Their Stroud likes Brown a lot, and Michi. I think if they get something for Michi in return, I think they'll take it. So I think Michi will try to show out during preseason to get some attention from a team that needs a receiver, kind of like Pittsburgh or somewhere like that. So I lean Michi like you because I think he's finally healthy. Health wise, he had that cancer scare a couple years ago. So it's the first time he's been through a full off season and a training camp where he doesn't have to worry about anything but football.
For sure. Going to Chicago. I don't imagine DJ Moore's going to play. He just got paid. Ken Allen's not going to play. Rome, I don't think is going to play much. If he does, it's going to be very limited, I think.
I doubt it.
Yeah, then you have Tyler Scott, who's mainly kind of a kick returner, punt returner. Yeah, a couple of targets here and there throughout the season.
Yeah,
Monte Pettis, it's trash, very trash.
veteran. He is
Elvis Jones, again,
trash.
kind of all over the place. DeAndre Carter's kind of the one I don't know what to do with. Um, we saw
We
him.
need to on their kickoff.
Mhm. We saw him with the Raiders. We seen him with the Chargers. We saw Colin Johnson with the Giants.
Yep.
And then we have Freddie Swain, LeBron, who's a rookie, and we have Webster. Again, I'm going to say this again one more time. It's a landmine waiting to happen. So looking at the Bears receivers again, if you want to stack the quarterback with Banjit with somebody, would it be Carter? Would it be Johnson? I think it would be Carter personally.
Well, I think those guys will probably get more run later in the game when Bajan's probably out. So,
Because I mean, Ripon through TDs to what? Colin Johnson to DeAndre Carter. Banjit completed 2 TD passes to Stephen Carlson.
yeah,
Again, I mean, Velus Jones, we saw the interception right there, intercepted pass that roamed off receiver Velus Jones. So again, I think it's going to be mainly Colin Johnson and DeAndre Carter for the Bears that are going to get the most looks on this team.
Mhm.
Those are the main two I would target. But again, people will read this like we are and kind of
yeah.
assume things. So ownership is going to go up. Again, we're just people trying to figure out this crazy web of preseason NFL, which is
Yeah.
definitely so. Who you
And
looking
if
at on this team, man?
and if you're preseason DFS player, Colin Johnson's treated you very nicely in the past. So, um, I wouldn't blame no one for wanting to click there. I just think he's buried so deep down the step chart. I don't think he's going to get a solid run. And like I said, we said at the beginning, I think it's going to be a lot of. I think it's going to be a lot of running to this game, or a lot of screen passes to the back. If I was going to pair up anyone with Bajent, who I'm going to play with the Bears, I would line him up with Rashawn Johnson. That's kind of where I'm leaning in this because I believe the backs will easily outscore the receivers unless the receiver catches a bomb. And let's be honest, with these, Mechie's probably the only guy that I can see catch a bomb. That's it. I don't see no one else on the Bears that can, especially with Bajent. I don't think Bajent's arm is very strong to begin with. But I could definitely see Mills and Michi hooking up for one.
Definitely possible. So, all right, man. So that's the preseason game for us. Do you have any last minute thoughts before we wrap up this show?
I am so glad to be back doing this with you. I am looking forward to doing this many, many times throughout the season. And never know, guys, this might not be our last preseason video.
For sure, man. We'll see what happens in this game. I'm excited for NFL to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the link will be in the description below for your Twitter. So definitely click on his Twitter. He has content up on his page. Definitely link with him. All my stuff will be in the description below as well. That's our Hall of Fame show for us. So I hope everybody has a great and safe rest of the night. Have a good one, everybody.